guys, it's Ayra here, and today I'll be making a video talking about when, how, where and why you want to pick AoE Death Grip, otherwise known as Gorfiend's Grasp in rated BGs. Now basically what this ability does is it pulls everyone within 20-yard range to your target, be it enemy, friendly or even yourself. Now there are plenty of uses for this ability, from gripping to peel, gripping into Ring of Frost, gripping into Fears, but one of the most common ways and strongest ways to use the ability is to be part of the RBG Holy Trinity of AoE Death Grip, Solar Beam, Vortex, which is a combo so strong that it's pretty much mandatory to bring in every high rated RBG team, or simply you just won't score kills on healers. If you can land a clean grip on all the healers, you'll most likely always score a kill on one or two of the enemy team. So perfecting it and working on your synergy with your Boomkin RBG partner is crucial, not only to your team fight and that team fight, but crucial to your whole RBG team's success in the long run. As you can have all the good players in the world that you want, but if you can't grip Beam Vortex the moment you meet a semi-decent team that can, you're going to be wiped and lose very easily. One thing to also note is that without a Paladin for Aura Mastery versus teams that have a Paladin for Aura Mastery, you're going to have a huge advantage due to the fact that the only way to really counter the beam is to either CC the Moonkin or DK while they're in the act of gripping or beaming, or have your Holy Paladin Aura Mastery the effect. This is why you want to focus on controlling their Paladin when you do it. Now you might ask yourself, do I grip first or does he beam first? Well, that's purely up to you guys, and primarily up to the Boomkin. You see, I've played with Boomkins that want me to AoE grip the whole team first so they can beam onto a target once they're all gripped up, and I've played with Moonkins who beam after I've gripped. Like I've gone to them, shall I grip? Okay, I've gripped, can you beam now? It really isn't an issue either way, it's more of a matter of personal preference for the Boomkin. Just make sure you specify before you start the RBG who's going to do it first, and also make sure you work on your communication with your Boomkin partner. So many teams at medium ratings waste beams and grips because of poor synergy, and whenever I'm capping in random trade chat pugs on my ult or on one of my ults, it really does make me want to pull out what little hair I do have because no one communicates. Just remember that communication is literally 80% of RBG in my opinion, not skill. It's literally around 80% communication and coordination, 10% skill and 10% gear. See, even if you're a 16 to 1700 arena player, you can easily get into 2200 plus RBGs if you work on your communication and do strong target calling and perfect grip into beam as a DK. Remember, it's not so much about being the most super amazing crowd control CC peeling player. All you have to do is communicate with that Moonkin and tell him when you want the beam, or get him to tell you when you want the beam, and you're going to be perfectly fine. Another question you might want to ask is, when do you grip? Well, it's simple, off cooldown pretty much. The ability is so strong and shares the same cooldown as Solar Beam, so you can pretty much use it off cooldown if you're, and if you're entering the first team fight of the game, you want to try get it off as soon as possible on one of their healers. Remember, if you have a Paladin, you're going to want to, if they have a Paladin, you're going to want to asphyxiate the Paladin or deep freeze him, or control him somehow so he can't Aura Mastery, and then you're going to want a green bip or beam, grip beam, and you'll easily force bubble or kill him. Now here are a few examples of good and bad beams that I actually did, and I'm going to commentate them. So yeah, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do make poor decisions, or sometimes we do make poor decisions. So here's examples of bad communication along with some good ones. Now here's an example of an ideal beam. Both teams are struggling in the team fight. We've both lost players. We've just rezzed and we're heading over there, and their healers have just rezzed and they're running into the mid. And straight away what we're going to do, as soon as possible pretty much, we're going to get a deep freeze stun onto that Holy Paladin so we can't Aura Mastery, and I'm going to grip onto it and he dies in it because I got every single healer into it. And we also managed to drop the priest and drop the monk fairly quickly, because we gained the momentum out of the beam. Watch out for them trying to... we got... Okay, nice. Have we got a beam for Paladin? Have we got a beam for Paladin?
Yeah, yeah.
Go,
Okay.
Pala, he's deep.
Okay, go on then. Gripping them, gripping them in. They're all in. They're all in as well.
They're all in,
Nice.
they're all in.
Okay,
Nice.
Go for monk in the beam. Go for
Okay,
monk
okay.
in the beam.
Okay, sure.
He's on top in the healing. He's the one who's doing way more healing than any of
Yeah.
those.
Okay, jump on in now.
He's carrying the team.
Okay.
Kill him and he's done
Fair
the whole
enough.
team. with him.
Can our Shadow Priest run back to our base now? Our close one. No, just split. Guys, come on, next time. See how easy that was before. Just... Now, here's an example of a very, very poor beam. As you can see, we do stun the Paladin, we line it up perfectly, we get all the healers in, we grip, but no beam comes, and that's because he told me to AoE grip, and while he was silenced. I don't know, he thought he must get dispelled or trinketed out of it, but what happens is, you know, he's got a silence on him, he can't beam. We didn't, you know, we need to AMS when I'm gripping. If I'm saying we're going to beam now, our boomkin really needs to, you know, AMS. I need to AMS or, you know, make sure I don't get crowd controlled so we can land it perfectly. So here's an example of a very poor one, and we actually end up wiping on this team fight just because of that.
I'm ready for beam.
Beam.
Gonna stand them
Just
all.
follow.
What the fuck?
Can we have a beam? What's the beam so?
Yes.
Feral on me, the feral on me, there's feral on me. Smash.
Oh,
Okay,
well, I have
smash
the
these
out.
DK and the warrior
Okay,
on me.
Mine's mine.
Someone needs to go back to smash. Now, here's an example of a good beam. Basically, we do exactly what we want to do. We end up getting a couple of kills off the beam. We end up killing one of the healers, and we manage to actually, you know, kill someone else. As you'll notice, in this example, I actually wait for him to beam and then I grip. It's just because that Moonkin preferred me to do it this way, and as in the other clip, I grip before their Moonkin beamed. So this is just a different example and a different style of gripping. I didn't do. I don't care. Okay, can you beam up? Can you beam on priest?
They beamed them up.
Okay, out of that, can you beam on priest now?
The Oramal Street, dude, the Oramal Street.
Yeah, just beam now. Beam out. It's ending now.
One sec, confirm, now.
Okay, gripping them all into it, maybe. Okay, yeah, got him into it.
The
Go
priest is
priest.
fucking dead.
Yeah, he's dead here. He's dead here. AMSing.
No.
I've got chance,
Get
another
this
beam
fucking-
on me,
get this
what
fucking
the
shield.
fuck?
Okay.
Steady.
I
see us.
Shaman,
They're like a bounce, they're like a bounce.
Okay, I'm jumping on druid actually as well. Careful, like pummel that.
No heroically from the warrior.
Okay, Moonkin's dead as well. Moonkin's dead. Go shaman if you can, guys.
Heal me.
This guy is just pumping out kills.
And now here's a later beam later on in that same game where Moonkin does an AMS before he beams, so he ends up getting feared. Or basically he doesn't have trinket ready for the beam. So as you can see, once again he doesn't get the vortex down, so our beam's wasted. Though the grip onto the beam was perfectly fine, we just ended up getting crowd controlled, so we didn't get a vortex and we didn't end up killing anyone. So you always have to make sure that you're not in crowd control and your Moonkin is not in crowd control when you do beam. Otherwise it's just going to make the whole thing very messy and, you know, just mess up your beam pretty much. Beam out. Oh, they beamed us. Over after, please.
I'm beaming on Shaman.
Okay, go on then.
Okay?
Grip them into it.
Here.
Unfair. Can you dispel? No fucking dispel ever. Yeah.
We have 2 masters back.
We just get countered by fear then, because we have no tremor and we...
Stun now.
Three
Okay,
stack.
can I have heal?
Okay, can we jump on tank? I'm gonna grip tank back, okay?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
we-
yeah.
Tank.
Build it.
Where's up?
Shadow feet.
He might just die here. He might just die here. He popped all his cooldowns.
he's-
Every cooldown he used.
String the healers, string the healers.
I popped bomb
I'm feeling Warlock here.
Yeah.
He's fucking
I kicked him out.
Now here's basically what happens when I get crowd controlled because I don't AMS and we beam and I don't manage to get the grip. Well, I get it pretty late. It's not too bad of an issue. We managed to force Bop and some other major cooldowns from them, though we probably could have landed a kill. But yeah, once again, I didn't AMS or I didn't Lichborn as early as I wanted. As you'll notice, I do end up gripping very late, but we still managed to get the beam off. But yeah, it's just another example of a beam that you can do even if you do get crowd controlled. Your main priority is just to get that grip off. Monk now, monk, pummel him,
Go, go.
Beam is ready.
Okay, be my monk then, be my monk. Actually, I'm feared. Fuck, I got feared.
Again, dying.
Grip them into it.
There's Ayra.
Look at Paladin now, okay? Jump on
Yeah,
it.
go back.
Alright, that's it for today. I hope you did learn a little bit about how to recover from a bad grip, or how to just deal with bad beams or bad grips, and how to stop them. Basically, communication is key. Remember, talk with your team, let them know what's happening, AMS before you do it if you've got it, or make sure you've got some cooldown to get out of crowd control, because most teams will try crowd control you or your moonkin while you're doing it. And remember, you can always grip on yourself. You know, just set a self cast key, and like mine is Alt, and all I do is I press Alt and then my death grip bind, and then I can just grip everyone to me, which makes it a lot easier sometimes if you're struggling to get a target for a beam. So yeah, hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, let me know, plus skill it, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for watching.